Oh, yeah, it's
Welcome
been a
to Wrestling with Fitness, a monthly accountability podcast hosted by Shotgun Wrestling Radio's Zach Takis and the Wizard CZ of Card Subject to Change. Fitness-minded guests from the world of indie wrestling. Now let's head into the studio with Zach and CZ.
What's up, everybody? Zach Takis here with Wrestling with Fitness. CZ is going to be joining us here in just a little bit. And this week, we are bringing back one of our very first guests we ever had on the show. We started the show over a year and a half ago. The one and the only Nicky Free is back in the pod with us. And my man, Nicky, how the hell are you, dude? It's been a long time.
Hey, Zach, I'm doing really good, man. I appreciate you having me on. Thank you.
Well, you know, we figured it was kind of a perfect timing to get you on here on the Wrestling with Fitness pod again, just because something crazy got announced here over the last few months that we didn't expect to happen, or we didn't see coming, at least, that you're coming out of retirement for one night in the professional landscape, and professional wrestling landscape, and you're getting your ass back into the ring here in a couple weeks.
Yeah, man. Like I said, so when Troy put out the call, like, how could I say no to that? You know, it's a great opportunity, and it's the 25th anniversary of Impact Pro Wrestling. So, you know, and you look back, you know, some of that stuff that I was doing, it's like already about 10 years old now. You know, so it's like a huge opportunity for me. So I definitely couldn't say no. You know?
Yeah. It was funny the other night on Shotgun Wrestling Radio. I actually had James Jeffries on, and we were just kind of talking about, you know, favorite Impact Pro Wrestling moments. Because it has been 25 years, and it's like, hot damn, it's been a long time, and you know, it's the Hall of Fame weekend is always such a special time for, you know, not just Impact Pro Wrestling, but for wrestling fans in Iowa. And then when Troy and them kind of announced this like celebration thing that's going to happen Saturday afternoon, I'm like, that's going to be something that's like really cool. It's going to be really cool to see. And then, you know, he's bringing guys like you. I know Malice is even getting back in the ring. It's been quite a few years since Malice has been back in the ring. So just to see some of you guys kind of coming back, it's fun, because I remember like some of those early Hall of Fame shows with you on it, and, you know, interviewing you with our old pal, Mr. Great, there at those early Hall of Fame shows too.
Yes, I can't believe it's been that long. You know, I remember you guys from the start, and it's impressive that you're still, you know, doing your thing here, podcasting on multiple levels, you know.
Yeah. Yep.
And I know how hard that is. You know, I did it for a while with my own podcast, so I got to give you guys props. You know, you're out here doing your thing, so that's awesome.
Yeah. I always tell people, if it starts to feel like a job, that's when I'm not going to do it anymore, because it shouldn't feel, at least to me, it shouldn't feel like a job, because I want it to be fun. And the second it starts to feel like a job, I'm out. That's something I've always said.
Right. It is fun.
And then there he is, the man of the hour, the wizard himself, CZ. My boy, how you doing?
Honestly, it's been a long-ass week, and it's only Wednesday. So I am struggling to get through. I'm mentally exhausted, but I'm here. So
it's the middle of the week. You got this.
What
was it? Technically a day and a half, because I have a short work day on Friday. So I'm going to get through it. It just... Oh, boy.
Well, some of these weeks, they drag. Yeah.
Well, you sent me a text on, what was it, Monday? You're like, this has been the longest week ever. And I'm like, it's only Monday.
Yep.
So, you know what, Nicky? I kind of wanted to talk to you. I know with like June, it's also kind of a big mental health month for men's mental health, as well as we kind of talked about here. And you've gone through a hell of a lot, especially over the last year or so, man. Like, kind of let's just talk about what you've been going through here over the last year or so, and how I've been really impressed with how you just continue to battle and continue to fight, man.
Yeah, dude. I mean, that is what happens. You know, if you're somebody that takes a lot of risks and, you know, wants to try to do something, you know, you're going to have some failures. And, yeah, that's what happened to me. I, you know, tried to go to Texas and tried to become an insurance salesman. And I don't know if you know much about multi-level marketing or anything, but it's, I think there's a 90% failure rate in it, and it's kind of a scam. So yeah, I kind of got wrapped up in that, and then I was down in Texas for a little bit. I don't know, the whole time I stayed pretty positive. I was, living in my car for a while, but I got hired at a couple of gyms down there, and they were really good at Gold's Gym. And then I was able to get myself back to Washington, and now that's where I am again. So and now we're doing pretty good. But yeah, you just got to, I don't know how I did it. I was, if you look at some of the people that you look up to, they've been through similar things. So you just kind of look at that and be like, John Cena was like homeless for a while. And, it's kind of like you're homeless, but it's kind of by choice in a way, because you could always, go home, or you could always like rely on your friends or family, but you're doing it for a specific reason, because you have goals that you're trying to achieve, right? So you just kind of like, for me, it's always goes back to what this podcast is about, which is fitness, And even when I was like living in my car, the first thing I did is, get a membership at a gym. That way you got someplace to shower, and I was still hitting the gym. So it wasn't really that bad. It was kind of like an adventure, I guess. Looking at it from the outside, like you guys were, I could see, it probably looks like, it could be pretty rough or anything. But, for me, it was kind of a fun adventure in a certain way, as long as you kind of, correct it pretty fast. And, I was able to, thanks to friends and family. In fact, a lot of the Impact Pro Wrestling family was there for me and really supportive when I needed some help. So you got to give it up to those guys. It goes to show that those are the, some of the connections you make are like a family, I got to give a shout out to Travis and Troy and, Johnny Fitness, Dave. Dave was a big support to me the whole time I was down there, because that guy never had any, he always had faith that whatever I was going through, I was going to end up on top again. So, Dave was a big help to me, just, messaging and just there for me. And he always had faith in me, so that meant a lot,
And that's a good thing to have that kind of support system, because especially when you're talking about mental health, you need that to keep your mind right, to keep yourself on track.
Yes. And also, it's a thing, I think right now, many people are going through struggles economically, financially, things are not ideal out in the world. So I think a lot of people, so that's why I think this month is very important, and you can lean on the people that are your friends and family for help,
And the cool thing that I thought too, especially kind of towards the end when you did kind of rebound there, because just following your journey through social media there and kind of seeing the look on your face when you finally got into your new apartment or whatever, it's like, even on the outside, it's like, okay, it may not look like much, but I know like to you, like that was pretty big damn deal. And you can just see how happy that made you. It's like, dude, I got a place where I can cook. I got a place where I can sleep. Like, just to see you kind of get that feeling again was awesome.
Well, and it's tough too, because I had worked before that really hard to get the place that I had before that, which was a beautiful apartment. And, someday I'll get back there again. But that's the thing is like, you get to a point and you don't think you're ever going to backslide or have to go backwards. But sometimes when you're moving forward, you got to go backwards a little bit too. And so you just got to be thankful for the things that you do have. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where we're at now. But yeah, it was cool though. When I was in Texas, it was funny because, we're talking about this wrestling show is coming up and, 25 years of Impact Pro Wrestling. And it's been, almost 10 years since I was a wrestler. But, it's funny, when I did get hired at Gold's Gym, I mean, I never said anything to these guys about being a wrestler. I never talked about it or bragged about it, but they just started calling me, what the hell were they? They were calling me like, they thought I looked like a wrestler. And they were calling me Rumble the manager was calling me Rumble. And I was like, I didn't even have to tell him. I just have that look, I guess. You know? And then, then the conversation, like, I actually used to do that, and so that was kind of cool. But yeah.
And when it comes to like mental health and even fitness, I've been a long proponent of how much fitness and mental health go together, because I feel like a lot of people, they may not realize it, but you get that half-hour workout in or what have you, you do feel at least I feel much better when I'm done.
Oh, it's just a mental thing. Yeah, it just helps your mental so much. I think if I hadn't been working out, I probably would have been a lot worse for the wear, when I was going through some of that stuff. And, it was the first time I ever ran my own business. So it was a good lesson, when I was doing the personal training. And I think that if you have that foundation of the gym, and I always had, the bodybuilding community was a big help to me as well. So I think, if you can keep that as the center point of your life. I mean, I see you always meal prepping still.
Yep.
Always try to keep it fun. I see that you do a lot of that with like, you're doing healthy meal preps, but different things, so you're not getting really bored with it.
Yep. I like to I have to rotate it.
Yeah, I think that's really good. People see that, and they see that it doesn't have to be super boring.
Yep.
And I think that helps a lot of people. So.
Yeah,
I know I haven't been like super active on social the last little bit here. Just I don't have a good reason. I just even on our Facebook page, I haven't really been active, but I don't know if you've been following, but I fell off for a little bit on my journey, and I've only recently gotten back in step. Haven't done anything in the last couple of days, but just because I've been busy with work and mental crap, and
and that's always going to be a part of it. So anybody that's trying to make a change, it's not like it's something where it's just going to be like you snap your fingers. I mean, the thing is, like, it's like when people, go to quit smoking, they've done research, and you kind of get to this thing where, you hear your buddy that's like trying to quit smoking, and it becomes like the boy that cried wolf, like, oh yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. Cause they try so many times, but the thing is, you really shouldn't, judge them when they fail, because I guess it takes so many times that every time you're trying is valuable. You know what I mean? So it's like, there's always going to be the times when you fall back or you have little setbacks. But as long as you keep that forward momentum and you're still trying, eventually it's going to click. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So I think it's really important to support people each time they try and not get kind of burnt out, because that is hard when you're trying to help people. You get burnt out if they start to fail or they backtrack a little bit. But each time they move forward, that's important. You know what I mean? It's like you have to support that every time. And there's always going to be times, even like in my life, when I've gone through this last year, there's going to be dips, but as long as the momentum is still in a forward progression, I think you're going to be okay, because you have an intention in your mind of where you want to go. And as long as you hold on to that, eventually you're going to get there.
And one thing that I've found, there's always going to be those voices out there that are trying to weigh you down, whether it's in your own head or whether it's external. You just got to work past them.
Yeah, and sometimes your good friends can almost be a detriment because they don't want you to change,
or your family.
And so you got to really reach out to those people that are going to help you change and support you, and that's not a knock on your family or friends. It's just they kind of want you to stay the same way you are sometimes,
Right.
And you got to find those people that are happy that you're trying to change, or that are happy that, they see what you want. They're like, hey, I love you how you are, but I also know you're trying to do better and support that. I think that's important.
I know my environment right now is not my favorite place to be. My sister is stuck in Florida right now, way far away, and she is the most supportive person. So every chance I get to talk to her and she spreads positivity helps me along. But I don't want to make excuses. I'm trying to word this there are so many factors that are weighing on me right now with my current environment.
Environment's huge. Yeah.
It's hard for me to stay on track. And I just am I'm doing my best to work past it.
Well, and it's even me when I got around, some of the bodybuilding shows that I did, and people would be like, they see, wow, how did you get your physique like that? Or how did, well, I was around other people that were doing that same thing. And so it became very easy. You start acting like the people that you're around, And so when you're doing it on your own, just by yourself, it is very hard to keep that kind of, momentum or that positive energy. It gets easier when you're around other people with similar goals, So you're right, environment plays a huge role,
One of the reasons I wish Zach were not an hour and a half away from here.
Yeah, and it is good that you two have each other, even doing this podcast, that's a help, because it's going to keep it in your mind,
Well, CZ, I feel like the one thing that's kind of helped you lately too is you switching over to the Apple Watch, and you've been wanting to get your rings closed.
Yep.
I think that's been it's a weird thing to have motivate you, but it does. Like, oh shoot, I need to close my rings.
It does. There's even certain apps that people can get that can help, motivational apps like that. I think anything you can use, if you just use it, it can help,
And that's been a big thing. What has it been, about a month, Zach? Not quite a month since I got it.
Yeah.
I haven't closed the green ring every day, but I've closed the blue and the red pretty much every day consistently since I got the watch, and that's helped me, get back on track quite a bit.
So where are you guys both at? You're an hour away from each other?
I'm in Davenport, and he's in Cedar Rapids.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So that is a little different. So Zach, you're definitely going to be at that wrestling show coming up, huh?
Oh yeah. So CZ is going to be there. CZ will be there too. So yep. We're both going to be there here in a couple weeks.
Okay, I'm excited. I've never seen you in the ring, so I'm excited to see you work.
Yeah, that'll be good. I mean, don't expect much, but no, I'm kidding. I'm gonna kick ass, dude. Like, it's funny because I'll probably be in the best shape I've been in the ring, now, even though it's how many years later.
Right.
But which is cool. But so that's the one thing I can do, show up in shape. Like Zach was saying, it'd be nice if I had a ring I could get in and put some reps in the ring and everything. But we'll see how that goes, how the ring rust is and everything.
I was just going to ask, are you worried about that at all?
I'm actually not. I think it'll be okay. I mean, I definitely am, but for the podcast, I'm just going to say no. No, I'm totally confident. Yeah. But you should always be a little bit nervous. That means you care. So, yeah.
Well, let's just look at, some of these other competitors that are in this. It's called the IPW Legends 6-pack match. And you want to talk about Legends and IPW, it doesn't really get much bigger than this. And so far that they've been announced, it's Matty Starr, AJ Smooth, yourself, TS Aggressor, and there's two other names that have not been announced yet. So, but again, you want to talk about...
I don't know who the other are, but man, you look at the talent. Wow.
Yeah.
That's literally the best of the best. I mean, that could be on anybody's IPW Mount Rushmore right there.
Yeah.
Any of those guys. You know what I mean? That's pretty wild. TS is definitely one of the greatest of all time. That's going to be same with AJ and Matty too. I mean, that's just that's pretty wild to be in the same ring as those guys.
Yeah, and both AJ and Matty have still kind of gone I'd say pretty heavy on the independent scene here. As of the last couple of years, I feel like Matty's kind of slowed down a little bit as far as not working as much as he was, but even the times that he does work, both him and AJ have just been still able to put on banger matches as of late.
No, and I believe it because Matty was always a guy that was just like crazy natural talent. I mean, the guy just has like an insane athletic ability in the ring that I think is just kind of God-given, And AJ too, but then AJ is also just like a ring technician. That guy is like always been, I mean, I remember when I started, I learned so much from working with him. And in fact, like that was like when I first started, the guy that I probably, Matty too, but AJ definitely, I think I worked with him a lot when he was the champion, and I was kind of chasing that belt. And man, those were some of the best learning matches I think I ever had, you know, because he just had this like effortless ability in the ring, you know. So, I mean, Maddie too. Maddie's another guy that I would do things with him that I'd never, you know, even tried, but they just would be effortless with that guy. So it's going to be pretty cool to see. And like you said, those guys, it's been what? I mean, their careers in the independent scene is what, over 20 years?
Yeah, I started going to shows in 2005, and they were on those early shows that I was going to. So, yeah, it's been coming up on 20 years for both those guys.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. You know, AJ's another guy that he's put a lot of work in fitness and the gym and everything. So he always showed up in, I don't know what his current, like, gimmick is. I remember, you know, when I worked him, at first he was doing, like, the pink tights and everything, and he would wear the thong underneath, you know, to get the heat. And then I think he kind of changed into, like, I mean, he's had some cool looks over the years.
Yeah.
You know, he had some sort of, like, Game of Thrones looks, you know, and then Maddie always had some awesome ring gear as well. But, yeah, both of those guys are just legends, man.
So, Nicky, let me ask you, and you may have answered this before I came in. When you got the call to come back, was there any hesitation?
No, I just said yes right away. And I think, you know, since I've been doing the bodybuilding and everything, I felt pretty comfortable with bringing a good look to the show. But I will say when I found out about it, I did sort of bulk up to about 240 pounds for this show. So, because I was maybe around 215 or 220. And so over the last how many months, I have put on quite a bit of size, you know, just so that I would look the part in the ring. So I am excited for that, you know. Yeah. So that was just a lot of extra calories, you know. Yeah.
And, you know, when it comes to, like, you putting on, like, the extra calories, what are you doing to do that? Are you, like, protein shakes? Or are you just doing extra chicken? Like, what's your kind of – let's go through, like, a typical day eating-wise for you. What are you eating in a day?
Yeah, so basically right now it's very clean again. So I had just trained for a bodybuilding show right before I went down to Texas. And then when I was in Texas, you know, I was living in the car for a while. So I, you know, kind of just ate whatever I could. I would go to like the store and get chicken and rice and everything, rice cakes. And then I started bartending again, and I was kind of like, you know, going out to eat a lot, having breakfast and stuff. And then I kind of cleaned it up. And for this show, it's back on, you know, since I got the apartment and everything, back to just my normal meal plan, which is like, you know, egg whites in the morning, eggs, cream of rice in the morning, and then chicken and rice, sweet potatoes and beef. So just a lot of that. And then, yeah, I would supplement a lot with a lot of shakes, you know, a lot of protein shakes just to put on the extra size. So right now, that's what it looks like. Basically, eggs, egg whites, cream of rice, chicken and rice, and then beef and sweet potatoes, you know. And then I take, you know, basic supplements, creatine. I've been taking vitamin D and calcium and fish oil. And that's kind of it right now. So, yeah. And then after this show, we'll see. I was thinking about doing another bodybuilding show, so we'll see what happens with that. But
are you going to treat yourself after the show with a cheat meal? And if so, what's that cheat meal going to be?
Yeah, I probably will. If I was going to do a cheat meal, you know, kind of whatever is available. But probably my ideal thing would be just a burger, you know, burger and fries, something like that. Right now, that's the only thing that sounds really good. You know, sometimes ice cream is really good. You know, after my bodybuilding shows, I used to like to do like the crumble cookies and ice cream. You know, and now I found out those crumble cookies are really unhealthy, you know. And everyone's like, oh, they're disgusting. I'm like, they are, but they taste so good, you know. But I know I have seen a lot of this online, you know, the crumble cookies, the chemicals and stuff in them are so bad. So I've been trying to avoid that kind of stuff. But.
You know, I do find it funny with like the World Cup going on here in the U.S. and all the foreigners that are coming in to visit, and they're like realizing for a lot of them are realizing, for one, how different our food is compared to like what they have overseas, and a lot of them seem to really enjoy it. And I know a lot of them have talked about like the portion sizes, and in my head, I'm like, now you see why America's fat.
No, 100%. And even when I was a trainer here, I would get a lot of clients from other countries that would be tech workers that would get recruited over here. And they would, be in their country just eating normally, not thinking about what they're eating. And then they come over here and they'd gain like 30 to 50 pounds. And they would hire me because they had no idea what happened. Well, it's just the American food, So, and they're not used to this hyper palatable, really bad processed food. And it just kind of hijacks their system, and they don't even realize what's going on. Next thing you know, they gain 30 to 50 pounds. And so then they would hire me, and it is like, I think, I love America, but we are used to, kind of untethered capitalism, and the food companies have a lot of power in this country, and they really feed us a lot. They feed us a lot of junk,
Yeah.
So,
and not only that, there's stuff in that food that makes you just want it much more and more.
It's as addictive as any drug, and they make it that way on purpose. And also, they have a lot of control over our food systems, and even stuff that they market as healthy a lot of times is very bad for you, So it's tough. But.
So speaking of something that I've been doing for almost a year now, I have my Fitness Pal. I've been keeping track of calories. Is that something that you do?
Yeah, I love my Fitness Pal. And most of the time when I would get my clients, that's what I would tell them. I would give them a meal plan that was very basic and easy to follow. But I'd also tell them, like, hey, if you want to mix it up so you don't get bored, as long as you hit these same numbers, like use my Fitness Pal, and it can be a pain because you got to track it every day. But if you hit those numbers, you're going to have good luck with that. So that's something, a tool that I always tell people to use. You know what I mean? Oh, you're good. Hey, I'm just on a podcast right now. This is Dave, the trainer here at the gym. He's a great dude. One of the trainers here at PNW Fitness in Seattle, Washington. And he's done a bunch of bodybuilding shows himself. So. And in fact, I think he's still planning on doing some more. And he's in his 50s already. So it's kind of impressive. Some of these dudes keep doing these bodybuilding shows,
Yeah.
He's got a big trophy.
One thing I wanted to ask you about too is water intake. We always hear about how important water is. What's your ideal, intake, and what do you think? What do you tell your clients?
For at least a gallon a day. I try to hit like a gallon or 2 gallons a day, especially if you're doing like creatine supplements like I am. Because even when you get your blood work done, that's one of the big things is your creatinine levels will go up, which is hard on your kidneys. So you got to drink a lot of water if you're using any kind of pre-workout or creatine. But the creatine is great for you. You know what I mean? It has mental, cognitive, it impacts your cognitive health in a positive way. But I would say, water also, it helps you burn fat and everything. So you got to drink enough water, And it's harder than you think. I always say get like a gallon jug and try to just get that down in a day, if you can do that. And it's hard when you're at work and stuff to remember.
Right.
You'll forget to drink water, but it's super important.
Well, that's why my water bottle here that I use, it's a 1 liter bottle, but it has all the different times on it. So I like
it kind of motivates you to keep going.
So I drink at least 3 to 4 of these a day. So my first one, it's usually just straight water. The second one, I'll put a flavor mix in it, just to give me some type of flavor, something. Yep. And then the rest is plain water the rest of the day for the last 2 that I drink. But
even if you got to use a flavor packet, anything just to get that hydration, or electrolytes are great,
Yeah.
I like those element packets, or there's certain electrolytes. You can even just put salt in your water too, is really good. But that's a big one, is just water intake, It's huge.
For me, you guys probably say I'm sipping out of a Gatorade bottle, but this is just water. I have 2 of these here that I cycle back and forth throughout the day. This is number 4 for me for the day.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I do love those Gatorade Zeros too. I hit those at work a lot.
I don't get them as often as I used to, but I just recycle the bottles. I'll get them every couple of months, and I'll switch out the bottles because I know they get old. But that's just that's what I use for water. I put one in the fridge. I have one next to me, and then I switch it out an hour or two later when I finish.
As long as you're getting your water, that's all that matters. However you do it. But yeah, I try to at least get a gallon a day. So
how many? Okay, this is going to be a stupid. How many ounces are in a gallon? I've meant to look it up, and I never have.
What is it? 32, I think. You'd have to look it up. Let's see.
Well, I can do that. Real
quick. You look it up. I don't want to get off the feed. I'll go look it up.
Oh, look at that. Google just popped it up right away for me.
How many is
1 gallon is 128 ounces.
Oh, damn. I was way off. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, you gotta get a lot in, It reminds me, I got to go drink some water here and finish my lift after this. So. Yeah.
So, I want to keep talking a little bit too, like with Impact Pro Wrestling, 25 years. You were a big part of that for a long time.
Yes,
Let's say, and I was asking James this question the other night. So I'm going to ask you, what are in the time that you were a part of Impact Pro Wrestling, what's your Mount Rushmore Impact Pro Wrestling moments? Whether it was you were a part of it or that you were able to see live.
Oh, man. Moments. Man, that's a tough one. Now you're tapping into my memory, which is not always the best. I think we talked about that on the last one. Like, you talk to a guy like Travis, he's got like this, like, he'll remember dates and everything. And it's like kind of a blur to me. I remember, I saw Troy had been posting certain cards. And it is funny, though, because when I see the card, he'll post these legendary cards. And it's funny because I will remember the exact show, kind of, which is pretty wild. For me, moments in my career, it'll be hard for me to do overall because I missed out on some of that. I think there's been a lot of really great moments in the last how many years since I've been gone. But moments that I remember big time were like, I think one of them was winning the championship from Tony Sly, which I had some really great matches with that guy. And then matches that me and James had when James was a heel, because I think he was really great at being a heel for a while there. And now he's like a beloved babyface,
Oh, yeah. James is one of those guys that if you try to turn him heel now, I think
he became like Shawn Michaels. Yeah, it's really hard. It's kind of like Shawn Michaels was a great heel, but after a certain time in his career, you couldn't even. Randy Orton's a little bit like that too. Like you can't even really make him a heel because
they tried to earlier this year, and it didn't.
And Stone Cold was like that too. It's like once you get to a certain level, like James, you just can't. But yeah, I'd say so. Winning the belt from Tony Sly, probably some of my matches with James, and then there was my other one was wrestling. I was a heel at the time where I wrestled Travis at the Hall of Fame show, and then my other big favorite match was the Legends Lumberjack match that I had against Ricky Love.
Oh yeah, I remember that one.
Yeah, I was a heel for that as well, and that's where I got punched in the face by Danny Hodge.
Yep.
And that memory
and he always had a tough grip on even as old as
he was old, but he would still crush apples and he would put holds and they'd always say don't let him get a hold of you, he'll stretch you. And the guy was a scary. They always said if he was around now to compete in the UFC, he would have just cleaned up because the guy was a legitimate tough man. And I remember the Danny Hodge thing was huge. I remember that match so well because there used to be a YouTube video of it, and I loved that video online. It's not online anymore, but it was kind of professionally recorded. So it was one of the matches where me and Ricky Love both were pretty much in like the best shape you could be in, and we had a great match. And then you added that lumberjack element with all those legends around the ring, and I believe I got thrown out to the good guys, the face lumberjacks out there. And I think Danny Hodge punched me in the face, and then I got the claw from Baron von Raschke and So that's probably one of my favorite memories is that Hall of Fame show with them.
You know, it's funny. I just quickly here pulled up some of my old photos, and the Hall of Fame show that you mentioned, where you and Travis were in like the main event there for that was actually my first Hall of Fame show, because I was looking at it and I'm like, oh yeah, that was actually my first
that
Hall
was
of Fame
definitely
show.
up there for me. That was big because Travis was like the guy that trained me.
Yeah,
and he hadn't been wrestling as much anymore.
Nope.
And that night I'd say he put on about as good of a match as you possibly could, and I was kind of in my prime at the time. So for him to come back and have a match at that level, I remember he gave me this awesome like flying super kick, and there's a picture of it that's just like textbook. Like his boot was just right in my face, and he did some other cool things, where we, just some stuff where it was pretty impressive that we were able to pull off. And the guy was just such a pro. And so that was a huge match for me. I love that match. There was another one, I think the year before I wrestled James Jeffries. And that was where Terry Funk was there watching and stuff. There's been a lot of cool memories like that. And me and James were always big marks for Terry Funk. So I do remember that.
That does not surprise me.
I remember we wanted to we used to tell a story how he gave us a dip of his, we used to chew like chewing tobacco, and I'm not saying it's a good thing to do. He should quit, but we did back then. And, all of our heroes would chew, and like Shawn Michaels chewed, and Ric Flair chewed, and Randy Orton chewed. And I remember being at one of the WWE Raws, and there was like a spitter bottle, and someone's like, "Oh, that's Randy Orton. That's Randy Orton's spitter bottle." And I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool." But I remember I think we had a chew with Terry Funk. And because he still chewed tobacco, we thought that was the coolest thing in the world, And actually, to tell you the truth, I don't even know if that's a true story or if we just like made it up. Like I don't even know if it actually happened, but we just remember it that way, But he was really cool. He gave everybody this, speech about the heels and how important it is to have the light versus the darkness and everything. And you can't have the light without the darkness. And he was really giving a clinic on how to be a great heel, And I remember when I was a heel, I took a lot of that to heart because, the way Terry Funk would do it is he would become a heel like the minute he was in the arena. He would just go into the character, kind of like, method acting, kind of like, when people are like, Heath Ledger when he played the Joker, like they would just get in this character, and that's kind of how Terry Funk did it. And I always thought that was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's funny you talk about chewing and dipping, and I did it for a very brief period in high school, but I always remember because I used to get like the green apple kind.
Oh yeah, that was delicious.
The best part about that though was if you left it in like your car glove box overnight, your car smelled delicious the next day. It was just like an air freshener for your car.
I love the memory. I am always happy when people quit because I don't want anybody to get cancer from it. But definitely,
I didn't do it very long because I just did not care for it at all.
No, and I'm glad you quit. But yeah, that definitely was a thing when we were younger. You'd see watch Monday Night Raw, and you see that Shawn Michaels had the dip can in his back pocket, and you always thought that was cool, So, but yeah, so that was a good memory of Terry Funk, And, but yeah, don't chew tobacco; it's bad for you.
So, Nicky, we had some great stories from your past. Let me ask you, what are you looking forward to the most about coming back into the ring?
Well, honestly, I mostly am just looking forward to reconnecting with everybody. So, I've stayed in touch with a lot of people. I just talked to James here. We stay in touch here and there through text and everything. And, he's a father now. He's got little Carrie and everything growing up. So we stay in touch. And but just
don't you love the fact that he named his son Carrie after Carrie Von Erich?
Yeah, sometimes it makes you kind of really believe in some sort of fate or destiny in the world because I think it's kind of wild that James Jeffries, his favorite wrestler of all time was Kerry Von Erich. And then by some weird twist of fate, when he, grew out his hair, he just happened to have hair that looked exactly like that guy. I mean, and he's a smaller version of it, but he basically became the Texas Tornado. He ended up like And it's weird sometimes how that stuff kind of works out, how your influences just creep into your life, you know, and like, you know, I even saw like Troy had posted this, it's just an image of like all the names that were going to be there. And, you know, it's just an AI thing. So it's just random. It's not like he chose it or anything, but it had my name like in a heart, you know, Nicky Free. And it's like a fire. And it kind of was like, you know, Shawn Michaels was like my favorite growing up. And it's, you know, kind of weird how you end up like sometimes you're, you know, and even some of my buddies would give me crap, you know, because, you know, sometimes with the fitness thing, I'd be posting some of these thirst traps and everything with the abs and like, you know, it's like, be careful who your heroes are. Cause a lot of it was kind of like Shawn Michaels in the 90s, you know, when he did like the Playgirl magazine and all that. So my butt, you know, they'll give me shit. It's like you watch too much Shawn Michaels because now here you are, like, you know, doing some of these similar things. I'm like, yeah, it just kind of, and I think that's what happened with James. You know, he just ended up embodying, you know, Kerry Von Erich, and then it's funny because then, you know, that is who he named his son after, and it's very fitting. You know, it's pretty cool. You know.
If anyone tells you that you're watching too much Shawn Michaels, tell them they're wrong.
Oh yeah,
There's
I love
no
it.
such thing.
Yeah, and you know, I won't get to compare, like Shawn Michaels is a very different athlete than me, but yeah, there's certain things where you just kind of like, you know, pick things up from those people, right? You know, and it's cool. It's cool. You know, I get a lot of that even when I work in the bar. You know, someone will tell you look like a certain wrestler or you look like a certain anime character, and I always just take it as a compliment, you know, so it's cool. Yeah.
Well, if you are looking for more Shawn Michaels to watch, the WWE Vault YouTube page actually just uploaded a like 3-hour long mixtape of just Shawn Michaels matches the other day.
Yeah, that's a dude I just can't watch enough of that guy.
Yep.
You know, it's still hard for me to believe, you know, like he's like the old guy now. You know, and he's like doing really well at the performance, or where does he work? The NXT stuff.
Yep.
And you know, it's kind of wild. You know, it's just like so much time has passed by, but it is crazy. I think guys like him still have a huge impact on.
Oh yeah.
You know, the young people coming up, and you know, watching him kind of the way Dusty did before him, where they, you know, give back and teach people. It's pretty cool to see that. You know.
Yeah. Well, it's like, who would have thought The Undertaker even would be running AAA in Mexico? Like, what?
I didn't even know that. You know, that's another guy.
Yeah.
It was wild watching him kind of like, you know, go through. He was a guy where it was kind of like Ozzy Osbourne, where it seemed like he would just never go away, you know, and he didn't for the longest time. And then eventually, you know, Father Time finally does catch up, and you know, luckily he's still really healthy and has a good life. But that was a guy that seemed timeless, you know, like he was never, he'd still be at WrestleMania. And, you know, even watching John Cena now retire, it's like, wow, a lot of time has passed. You know?
Yeah, a lot of our guys that we all grew up watching, it's like they're fading away, and it's like,
it's kind of hard to watch.
Yeah. Well, it's like even when Hogan died earlier this year, say what you want about the guy, but it was like that for a lot of us wrestling fans, like a piece of wrestling died that day.
Yeah, and you know, he was a guy, it didn't seem, you know, you always felt the same way, he's always going to be here.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's gone. And
he truly felt immortal. Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, I think it is, say what you will about the guy, like he definitely had some missteps and everything. And I get the people that don't like him also. But you know, you watch that documentary on Netflix about him, and man, it is very inspiring to see, like, you know, we do kind of owe everything to him. Like wrestling wouldn't be what it is. And all the stuff that happened after, yeah, there's some bad stuff, but you know, I think it was cool that he sort of got his life back together right at the end, you know. It seemed like he was in a pretty decent place. But yeah, I didn't even see that coming. It was pretty sudden. Yeah. You know, you still got Ric Flair is still out there doing his thing, you know. And it is pretty wild, you know.
And Ric Flair out of anybody, that's the guy that has freaking 10,000 lives.
I honestly can't believe, because he ran a harder life than most of these guys, and he's still
right.
I don't know how he's still out there. You know, another guy I just saw is Tatanka has 2 sons that are just dude, they are just jacked.
I saw that the other day too.
I'm like, these guys are gonna be something. Like, you look at these guys, like he must have had them a little bit later.
I think he posted the other day too that one of his kids actually got a tryout invite in Minnesota.
And they should, because I saw a picture of them and they are ready to go. They look better than most of the roster right now.
Right.
You know, so that's pretty cool to see. But yeah, I love seeing that, you know, some of the people following their father's footsteps like that. It's pretty cool. Yeah. But yeah, a lot of time has passed. It is pretty wild, you know, like it's crazy to see, you know, some of the dudes we grew up with. Like, I mean, even Triple H is so old now. It's like, what's going on? Yeah.
It's fun now though to watch the younger talent and just see who is going to be at that level of the guys that we looked up to when we were growing up.
Yeah, it is cool. It's cool. Like, even seeing Cody Rhodes where he is now is cool. You know what I mean? Like, and then you got guys like Randy Orton. He seems timeless. Like, he's just never gonna.
Yep.
You know, the guy is still at the top of his game now, which is pretty impressive because he's getting up there as well.
Excuse me.
No, and it's funny because I don't stay in touch with like what's going on in the current scene as much as I'd like to.
Well, in fairness, like there's so much. I mean, which is great. It's great to have all the options, but it's like, in my opinion, you really cannot watch everything. It's for anybody that says they do, they're lying to you because there's no way.
It is tough, you know. It's tough now. They got the ESPN thing too, so people are watching less pay-per-views, I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's still like WrestleMania seems to always still be a pretty high point. I know this year they had a couple really great matches. I think that CM Punk one with Roman Reigns is getting, you know, talked about as a great match. I still haven't watched that. So I'm a little out of the loop, you know.
Speaking of great matches, most recently down in since Zach mentioned AAA, have you seen the mask versus mask match yet?
No, I have not.
Go out of your way to watch it. It is
match. I will actually, Nicky. I'm gonna send you the YouTube link for it so you can.
Yeah, I'll watch it. So I didn't know the Undertaker is running now, which is pretty great because that guy is like, I think he's about as old school as you can get, you know.
And that match, the two gentlemen, Chad Gable and El Grande Americano Ludwig Kaiser, they put on a tremendous show. It is, in my opinion, I don't think there's going to be a match that beats it for match of the year this year.
Nope.
Yeah, no, I know Chad Gable is just an extremely amazing athlete, so that will be good to see.
All right, Nicky, I'm sending you the link to that match in our group chat.
Awesome. I will check that out.
So yeah, it's everything from that match is just, again, picture perfect from the crowd. And the fun thing is everybody knows who's under the masks, but it still doesn't matter because of how well they built the thing. Yeah, that's what's fun about it.
It's all storytelling at the end of the day.
Yep. So
now what are the matches you guys are looking forward to the most in this upcoming show?
So the Hall of Fame, let's go. Yeah, glad you mentioned that, dude. Let's go ahead and run down some of the matches here. Your old pal Colt Cabana is actually coming back. He has not been back for a few years. There for a while, he was kind of there just every year. So it's good. I know
he was a very big part of that show always.
Yeah, he's coming back. He is going to be wrestling Crotch. Yep, he's gonna be wrestling Crotch. The Hale Twins versus Chiloleo, the team of Chiloleo, Gable Galileo, and Max Chill. This one, if I were you, I would make it a point to watch because anytime these two teams get together, they just have a banger of a match. Like these two work really, really, really well together. And then you got Malice versus Ugly. That's another famous IPW rivalry.
Two absolute legends. Yeah.
Yep. And they've just had a long-standing rivalry in IPW that's gone on for years. So it's nice to see it culminate here at the Hall of Fame show.
I think that match is going to be pretty ugly as well. I mean, you never know what those guys are going to do.
Right,
right. They're going to do some stuff that I don't think I would do. you know.
Right.
And it's going to be. I'm looking forward to seeing these matches. Yeah.
Yeah. Got the big picture versus Jimmy Wild with Tony Atlas as the special enforcer.
That's amazing. Big Picture's another guy that's just an absolute legend.
Yeah. And then James is going for the NWA title against Silas Mason, who's the current NWA champion. Which that James and I were talking the other night. And it's like that's just so cool to finally have the NWA title as part of Hall of Fame weekend, considering the NWA started in Waterloo. To finally have the NWA title involved is absolutely awesome.
Yeah, I don't know if people know much of the history of that, but that is true. That is where it all started.
And I'll give a cheap plug. A couple years ago on Cards Subject to Change, we got a tour of the room where the contracts were signed from friend of the podcast, Maddie Montcalm, who actually knows quite a bit of history of the NWA. So if you want a history lesson, seek that out on the Card Subject to Change YouTube page.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm done plugging. Keep plugs all over.
The history of everything is what makes it so interesting.
Aren't they offering like a tour this year, Zach, for the President Hotel?
That I don't know. I'm not 100% sure.
I thought I saw something for lifetime members.
Oh, for the lifetime members, I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm looking forward to seeing all these matches and all the things that are going to be there because Troy always goes all out. And then also this being the 25th anniversary. And I think just July in general is going to be such a huge month for independent pro wrestling and IPW in general. I saw, they have a busy schedule. And it makes me wish I could be there for more of these shows than just the one because I think they got some awesome stuff happening in the month of July.
Yeah, they're doing the fair tour circuit right after the Hall of Fame show. So they're doing a bunch of fair shows, and I know everybody loves doing those fair shows.
Well, imagine that 25 years of doing this. That is pretty crazy. I still think it's the longest running independent promotion in Iowa.
Yep.
So it has to be up there. Yep.
Yeah. Just to be a small part of that, it's pretty cool. It's like just a lot of history there. So I think you're right. Watching some of these matches is going to be amazing just to see like.
I'm just excited for the whole weekend. I don't know that I can pick. I mean, am I partial to the Colt Cabana crotch match? Maybe a little bit because I've known Matt Mayday for years. But
and Crotch was a legend in IPW too, because that was a guy that was there before I was. I mean, so that's pretty cool. It makes me wonder who the other two names in my match are going to be too.
That's got me thinking too. My God, who could they pull out of the woodwork here to get those other two names? And again, when we saw the initial lineup announced and they had your name there, Chris and I were looking for a guest for the June show, and I was like, well, Hall of Fame's a little earlier this year. It's actually a perfect time to bring you back on to help talk, again, the fitness and then talk about you making your big comeback here in just a couple weeks too. So really all the stars just kind of aligned to make it the perfect setup.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that's going to be the another reason to buy that ticket is just see who those mystery opponents are, because I don't even know who they are. It's crazy.
Right.
But Zach, do you know who you're facing yet?
I do not know. Nope. I was thinking just throwing on a mask. I mean, I got a mask, so I was thinking throwing on a mask.
You're the one in the match. Maybe you'll jump. I am really looking forward to watching James in that NWA match. Yep. I feel like he's going to really pull out all the stops in that.
Yeah.
Yep. Being such a big match like that, and I think that's probably going to be the main event of the show.
Yeah.
It'd
be really cool if they could have gotten Billy Corgan involved somehow too, especially with both of us being such big music fans. Like, it would have been really cool to see Billy Corgan involved somehow.
It would be cool. I noticed, you used the Metallica as the music for this promo, but yeah, I think that would be cool. That's one thing that's cool about where I'm at right now in Seattle. There's a lot of music fans around, and some of that old music is really making a comeback. The kids are really into that. Yeah. It's pretty interesting seeing all these young kids are starting to like all that old rock music now.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah, pretty wild.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, CZ, we're kind of getting up to the top of the hour here, man.
Yeah. This I know I was a few minutes late, but this hour has flown by. So, Nicky, we appreciate you coming on, and definitely come back for a third appearance.
I would love to. Anytime you guys want. Yeah. I am looking forward to seeing you both in person at the show. It's going to be a great time. And I feel really honored to get to be a part of it. And I am very thankful for you guys for bringing me on today. And, just given all this time, having James Jeffries on, some of these legends, it's really good that someone is out there promoting all this stuff. And I got to give you props for podcasting, doing what you love and doing it for so long, so well. You guys are killing it out there.
You probably don't know when you're coming into town yet, though, Friday or Saturday?
I might be there earlier in the week to spend some time with family, and then I'll be there for the show probably Friday night or Saturday morning. Yeah.
Okay.
I would say Saturday morning, probably. Yeah.
Sounds good.
So that's going to be great. Yeah.
Definitely looking forward to meeting you in person and watching you in the ring. I'm super excited. But Zach, any final thoughts before we close things out tonight?
Not really. Tomorrow night on the Shotgun Wrestling Radio Facebook page, we are going to have a CEW preview show for the CEW show coming up this coming weekend. And then Friday, a new episode of Shotgun Wrestling Radio with James Jeffries will drop. So that's a busy week for us over there on that pod. So
yeah, I heard a rumor that there might be a certain wizard helping you on commentary with that Central Empire show this weekend.
Let's hope so.
All right, guys. I look forward to hearing all those. Thank you.
Thank you man. So much. We appreciate you coming on. And thank you, everybody who tuned in or is listening after the fact. For my co-host and partner, Zach Takis, I am the Wizard CZ. It's been another episode of Wrestling with Fitness, and we will see you back again next month.
All right.